whatever is in this box.
Can I help you?
No, you can't help me. No.
Sure.
Oh, Diana. You came all the way here from Houston.
What is it?
You gave up $670. Whoop. Well, I can tell you this.
Tell me.
There's a piece of paper in there.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
You looking good?
Is it looking good? I forgot. Let me take a look. It is looking good. Yes.
Come on.
What you have is a check for $23,000. $23,000.
Contestants in Take Your Pick never jumped up and down like that, but they were British, and in Britain it has always been assumed that to appear on television is not quite important enough to justify the sacrifice of all personal dignity. In America, people will do anything on television, up to and including blowing their own brains out. The difference could be that Americans are brought up on a continuous, all-day diet of game shows like that one we've just seen, so that when their turn comes to be on camera, they know exactly when to jump up and down or shed a tear. If they forget, the host with the friendly hair transplant is there to prod them. But why do they volunteer for this kind of humiliation? $23,000 might seem a good reason, but on other shows, the prizes are less tempting.
This raving beauty might lay this terrific ceramic nut warmer on one of our lucky contestants. Or they might win any one of these other half-baked prizes tonight on the program that really goes the distance, The Cheap Show. And here's the host of The Cheap Show, a man who has never seen a UFO, Mr. Dick Martin.
Dick Martin used to be half of Rowan and Martin, who got lucky with the laugh-in. After that one finally ran out of gas, Dick moved up, or down, to The Cheap Show. But we shouldn't sneer. Most of the British quiz and game shows are based on American formats. Blankety-blank, Play Your Cards Right, Family Fortunes. Even Call My Bluff, which didn't last long in its original American version, perhaps because the emphasis was on mental activity, rather than the self-abasement which characterizes such very distant cousins as The Cheap Show.
The category, The Fascinating World of Bozo Miller.
I know that.
We're all talking about Bozo Miller.
I know him.
They still remember Bozo Miller in San Francisco for something he ate there in 1963. What did this great man eat? Jim Stafford.
54 cheeseburgers, and that's a fact. He really did.
You're kidding me, huh?
Yes. No.
54 cheeseburgers?
Yes, he
Charlie,
did.
do you agree with that?
He ate 27 2-pound chickens.
27 chickens?
27 2-pound chickens.
Carl, you have a choice.
I think I'll go with Charlie.
Gonna go with Charlie? Okay, let's find out who has the correct answer. Charlie Callis has the correct answer. Carl, you get the point. Wendy, your loved one, gets the punishment.
Not exactly Robert Robinson's cup of tea. Perhaps the Americans are unusually dumb, with a need to be publicly humiliated. Perhaps, on the other hand, they are unusually clever, with a deep and true perception that what happens on TV doesn't count. It's like a Roman Saturnalia, a time to let your hair down and your brains hang out. The climax of The Cheap Show is a game of rat roulette. Instead of dropping a ball onto the spinning wheel, they drop a live rat. If Oscar the rat runs into the right hole, the contestant wins a prize with the corresponding number.
Okay, launch Oscar. There he goes. Oh, and passed by number 12. Even in number 12. Oh, that was close.
You won that beautiful color television, plus a beautiful wall recliner. Lazy Boy's famous wall recliner so bed reclines when placed 1 inch from the wall. Let you recline separately. It's ideal where space is limited, and it's a Lazy Boy.
If the rat had run down the wrong hole, she would have won 2 Lazy Boy surfettes. I think I would rather have won the rat. But ghastly though it is, the cheap show does deliver the consumer goods into the quivering lap of the greed-crazed contestant. In the next show, all you can win, except the chance to degrade yourself, is $1.98, hence the title.
Join us in a make-believe search for the most beautiful girl on earth. Yes, it's a $1.98 beauty show. An entertainment spectacular if ever there was one, where beauty is not only in the eyes of the beholder, but also on this very stage. Tonight, the $1.98 beauty show will continue its relentless spoof of all of those other so-called beauty contests. And although this is not a real contest, we will bring you our version of the all-American beauty, that one-of-a-kind girl who not only has personality and poise, but beauty and talent as well. Yes, sir, the $1.98 beauty show will be bringing you tons of talented and beautiful women every single week. Happy women, terrified women, women singing and dancing and parading about in the latest bathing suits, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of San Tropez. And now, here's the host and star of the show, Mr. Beauty himself, Rip Taylor.
For the contestants, or victims, in the $1.98 beauty show, the rewards aren't high, but perhaps they are realistic. With Luciano Pavarotti getting only a few £1,000s an hour at Covent Garden, $1.98 is probably a fair price for what you're about to see.
Thank you, and welcome to the $1.98 beauty show. We have 6 of the most exciting and beautiful women you've ever seen in your whole life, waiting to find out which one will be this week's $1.98 beauty. One of which is a seductive belly dancer whose belly does an incredible time step. Here's candidate number 4 from Korea, Pong Suk. Number 6, Hilda Olsen.
Ladies, does your husband stick around in the morning for that second cup of coffee? Well, if he doesn't, then there's something wrong by yumping Yiminy. You just listen to Mrs. Olsen, yeah? She has her own special grind. I'll show you how to make his coffee percolate.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be all right. The winner is Hilda Olsen!
Rip Taylor, the visual equivalent of a sinus wash. It's a sad fact that freedom includes the freedom to be meaningless, trivial, and undignified. Watching American TV, you can be excused for feeling that Western civilization is coming to an end. But that's probably because American culture is so close to us that we can be disappointed by it instead of just finding it odd. Japanese culture is too strange to be a letdown. they keep all their own traditions and import everybody else's, including game shows, which they pursue with an enthusiasm which often seems unwarranted by the actual event. You feel that they'd be enjoying themselves even if nothing was happening at all.
そうですよ。はい、そういうわけで皆さん運動やってますか。小野シエスタです。さて今回の競技ですけどね、つまり前輪を浮かして走るわけですよね。
そうなんですよ、小野さん。これはもうバランスを取るのが大変な競技なんです。一輪車とも違うし、
そう違いますよ。
二輪車ともバランスの取り方が違うので大変ですよ。
そうですね。そして前回お届けしたんですけども、前回を上回る強者ばかりですよ。この日のためにね、2年間訓練をしてきたというし。だから皆さん本当にすごい記録が出ると思いますね。さて前回の優勝者、小笠原選手が来ております。ちょっと聞いてみましょう。はい、小笠原。チャレンジボーイ三浦浩一選手の登場であります。張り切ってますが半ば焼け気味という感じもいたします三浦浩一選手。果たしてチャレンジボーイ今日はどういった挑戦を見せますか。さあスタートであります。勝負にかけております。どうでしょうか。
The sheer determination with which the man fell off his bike is significant. The Japanese on television pursue relaxation like fanatics, in keeping with their time-honored custom of importing such Western artifacts as the aeroplane, which they stripped down, rebuilt with half the weight and twice the power, and then flew straight at us. Now they've done the same thing with quiz shows. The zero of all quiz shows is called Ultra Quiz, in which a stadium full of contestants are flown halfway around the world, with half of them being fully humiliated at each stopping point until the sole survivor wins the prize of his or her dreams. We'll take a closer look at Ultra Quiz in part 2. Meanwhile, here's a sip of a show which makes It's a Knockout look like the tea ceremony.
Yorkshire water and Yorkshire tea. The perfect combination because they are made for each other. You see, Yorkshire tea is specially blended in Yorkshire for Yorkshire people, and Yorkshire water. Yorkshire tea. That's better.
What's the secret of great French dressing? Dim tights. They're the most popular tights in France because they have a unique, sleek fit for the kind of freedom French women demand. Dim tights, the secret of great French dressing, available at last in England.
Oh, Poppy, Daddy says we can't keep our kittens, but the poor little things mightn't get cat-o meat somewhere else. Mummy says you all like cat-o meat because it's made with only good things.
Well, look how firm it is, and meaty, and there are 8 different ones to choose from.
I wish I were a cat. You get more variety than you do with Mummy's cooking.
Veronica.
Cat-o meat. It shows how much you care.
Hey up, carefully. There goes young Cheddar.
Gets around a lot, doesn't he?
I can keep up with him in it.
Oh, come on, Cheshire.
Listen, we may have different tastes and textures, but people don't realise that anything Cheddar can do, so can I.
Oh, yes?
Oh, yes, from a souffle to a Welsh rarebit.
Now you're talking. So you've got something in common, then?
Eh?
You're both versatile.
No, I'm Sagittarius.
Yes.
Good old Cheshire. Only the best is up to the mark.
Wake it up, wake it up. With Kellogg's Golden Cornflakes, vitamins, vitamins. In every pack of Kellogg's Cornflakes, carbs and corn and iron too. Sunshine breakfast, the best to you. Crunchy goodness all the way. Kellogg's Cornflakes every day. Vitamins, iron too. Kellogg's Cornflakes, the best to you.
in the West invented the television set. Then the Japanese took it, rigged it with 1,000 different electronic oriental functions, including the ability to arrange flowers, and sold it back to us. Now they're trying to do the same thing with television programs, and look like succeeding. Ultra Quiz is a Western quiz show carried out with Eastern thoroughness. What we are about to see is an American promotional film designed to convince the US networks that their lives will be empty without Ultra Quiz.
For those of you who don't understand Japanese, what that man is telling us is that we're about to see a condensed version of the hit Japanese television show, Ultra Quiz. Ultra Quiz is Japan's biggest hit. Interest in the show has built to such a peak that the show gets a 65 share. We've got the American rights, so don't mess with us. We're in a baseball stadium where a miniature Peter Marshall is about to throw out the first question to 1,362 hopeful contestants. The first question is an easy one. Was Mito the grandson of Tokugawa? If they think the answer is no, they release the balloon. If yes, they hold on to it. The answer, of course, is yes. Oh, no, lady, don't release that balloon. She and 401 other dummies answer it wrong, and the process of elimination has begun. At the finish of Ultra Quiz, after 1,000 questions, after games of skill and chance, feats of physical endurance, after dozens of crazy stunts in 10 different cities on 3 different continents, there will be only one winner, and it won't be him. Meanwhile, back at Ultra Quiz Central, 2 hosts explain how 960 winners will be reduced to 100. The American Ultra Quiz will have 3 hosts. One host tells us what's going on, another brings us film personality profiles of surviving contestants. The third, a computer expert, predicts winners and losers. He will, of course, be wrong more often than right. Those balls are the key to answering the next question. A red ball for a yes answer, a white ball for a no. The question was the unfinished symphony Schubert's last. The players must make their choice by taking a red ball to the X circle or the white ball to the O circle. Quickly, we're down to 579 players. And the questions continue until finally we're down to 100. Our hosts tell us the remaining 100 players are packing for a trip. American Ultra Quiz will take contestants on a 3-week trip around the world, eliminating players as we go. At the airport, our MC explains that due to a foul-up by the travel agent, 50 rather than 100 seats have been booked for the next destination. 50 of our players who have gotten passports, shots, and in some cases new luggage must be eliminated immediately. They vote to have a quiz. They are overruled by the MC, who tells them that they will be eliminated by a head-to-head game of rock, scissors, paper. The winners are pleased. The winners are thrilled. The winners are overjoyed. The winners are ecstatic. And the losers take it out on the travel agent who screwed up. 50 survivors take off for an island paradise, but once on board, they learn they will be given a 400-question written quiz which will eliminate another 10 players. The tension is evident. We arrive at our island paradise. The MC now explains an unusual device. No, it's not a metal detector, it's a loser detector. The winners of the quiz will simply walk through and stay in the game. Losers going through will set off a buzzer that means, back on the plane, pal, no island paradise for you. Who are the losers? Who are the winners? Watch. Let's meet contestant number 1.
あなたはこの前になったようなこの前ここで勝ったけどやったーあそうにこやかにゴリラいいぞ来いゴリラ来たけおるし残念だった竹中さん自信あるかいないか行くぞ
And while the winners remain to celebrate on the island paradise, the losers are sent back, no frills. We are now at a luxury hotel where no one is allowed to unpack. Our 40 players will be reduced to 20 by a ball-breaking balcony quiz with questions like, was Tokunaga the shogun? In the American version, we'll ask slightly more Americanized questions thematically linked to where we are. The X is yes, and the O is no.
そのまま丸の方が少ないようでございます。答えは×です。丸と出した方、ペーターによってすぐ私の前に来てく
And
ださい。
some other players bite the
残念
dust.
でございました。テントがあなたを
While the winners luxuriate in their suites, the losers are not so lucky.
一番南にあるのが
The losers have to pitch tents on the beach and await a 4 a.m. call for the return to Japan. For the winners, it's on to Hawaii. The MC has good news and bad news. The good news is sharks hate the color orange. The bad news is that 10 of the 20 players will be eliminated in a head-to-head damp quiz. Back at Alter Quiz Central, our computer expert has been feeding our players' test scores into the computer. He tells us this woman will be the most likely loser when the field is reduced from 10 to 8. The final 10 players move on to Knott's Berry Farm, where there's a celebrity look-alike quiz. Alter Quiz will end here for 2 more players. The audience waits to see whether our computer expert's prediction was right. Will the woman player be eliminated? At Alter Quiz Central, our computer expert is asked to explain why he was wrong. Next stop, Grand Canyon, where our 8 finalists have won funny hats with buzzers to help them answer questions. The American version will be in the Coliseum in Rome or the gaming tables at Monte Carlo. Our 8 finalists have become household names. At every stop from here on, we will reluctantly lose our players one by one. The studio hosts tell us we're in Miami Beach. We are down to 4 players. And more than mere knowledge will be needed to avoid elimination at this stage of the game.
I'm tired. あれは何ですか?
Washington, D.C., the next to last stop on our Odyssey. Only 3 players remain. Who will the finalists be? All of us have made our individual choices. Twin helicopters carry our 2 intrepid finalists to the top of the Pan Am building in New York. They've survived thousands of questions, hundreds of stunts, not to mention hotel food, plus 25,000 miles of constant travel, stress, and pressure. And they are at their physical and mental limits as they enter the final round. The American finals will be held live. Your press department, our interviews, and the contestants have done their job. Millions of people are tuned in to see which of the 2 players, who are now like members of our family, will win. Wives, mothers, and fathers are present, and the dream prizes are displayed. Our hosts will make their predictions, and our computer analyst will tell us the odds. And then the final quiz. Whoever answers 10 questions first wins it all.
GT カーの GT とは何の略? ハイブッチャー。グランドツーリング。はい、自信を持って押しました。8ポイント、あと2つでございます。問題。卓球を正式な英語名で呼ぶと、ハイブッチャー。テーブルテニス。正解です。いよいよあと1つであります。9対5になりました。あと1ポイント。お釈迦様が悟りを開いたのは何の木の下? はい、ローリン。菩提樹。菩提樹正解。9対6になりました。京都にある金閣寺の正式名はない。はい、ローリン。六音寺。正解。京都の地の利を生かしましたな、これは。2ポイント追い上げてきました問題。出生届を出すのは14日以内だが死亡7日。正解。おめでとう。やったぞ。
And we have a winner. And we have a loser. The ordeal is over. He's won his dream prize, a racehorse. In the American version, an American will win his dream prize after a photo trip around the world. So by Ultra Quiz, from 20th century, the people who brought you Star Wars. Not to mention the man who ate a chicken.
And the promotion succeeded. The American Ultra Quiz is already rolling, and you won't get a prize for guessing who the hosts are, Rowan and Martin. So far, we're safe, but Ultra Quiz might well happen to us, no doubt in a toned-down version. The prizes will be somewhat smaller, and the heart, we would like to think, somewhat larger. British television doesn't yet allow the game shows to rehearse the contestants, and so far, the humiliations are no worse than what might happen in a game of consequences between friends. We're still on the sane side of a line which I'm sure I'm not alone in thinking is clearly drawn and should not be crossed. It's one thing to see ordinary people playing the fool, but it's another to see them being made fools of. On American television, that's what happens. What's happening on Japanese television is harder to figure out, but maybe that's a relief. Sayonara.